Yeah, hi there, Eyas. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And it looks like you wanted a little bit more feedback with your independent speaking task. So I think that you told me that you've taken the TOEFL a couple of times, but you still haven't reached the 26 points out of 30, and you want to figure out exactly what your problems are, right? Now, normally with the payment that you're paying right now, the $35 a month, I cannot give you this kind of feedback on every particular speaking task, and normally my IBT speaking specialist will handle all of these kinds of things, but because you sent me an email and you gave a special request, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, I also have another service that you might be interested in. I have an additional speaking and pronunciation service where you can post 3 different speaking practice tests every day, and you will get specific feedback from me, usually about 20 to 30 minutes of feedback each day that you're posting your speaking responses. Okay, so let's take a look at each of the questions. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some feedback on those. And one more thing here. Now, I think you were completing the either the first speaking task number 1 and speaking task number 2, am I right? Okay, so what I want to do right now is listen to one of them, and normally what I'll do is I'll listen to the whole thing once, and then I'll play it again, and then give you some comments on that. Okay, so let me make sure I know. So the event 1, it looks like you're doing number 2. Choose an event that has meaning for you. Explain how it has changed you. All right, let's see what you have to say on this one.
My graduation from pharmacy school is the most important event that happened to me because it was the start of my career life as a pharmacist, and because it reminded me with a lot of memories that I shared with my friends and colleagues. In that day, when I got back from the ceremony, I didn't stop thinking of what will I be and how I'll deal with the patients. The other thing is that in the ceremony there was a slideshow showing me and my friends in a very beautiful pictures that reminded me of my great time with them. So because of the great memories I had, and because it was the real start of my career life, I consider my graduation day as the best event that happened to me.
All right, so let's listen to that one more time, and I'm going to listen to it in segments now. Let's take a look at the beginning, the middle, and then the end of the speech.
My graduation from pharmacy school is the most important event that happened to me because it was the start of my career life as a pharmacist, and because it reminded me with a lot of memories that I shared with my friends and colleagues.
Okay, so 2 things. So it's the start of your career, and then it reminded you of some memories. The second point, the memory idea, is probably going to kill your score a little bit because it's so broad. It's hard for you to give specific examples to support that second idea in your topic statement. So I think that's going to cause you some trouble, because when we're looking at the actual IBT rubrics under the topic development, if you want to get around 4 out of 4, 30 out of 30, it says you have a well-developed and organized response, and it's easy to understand the relationship of your ideas. Now, if you don't have really good specific details, I think that's going to make it hard for you to get over 26, right? Okay, so let's keep going and see how you do in the speech. we're getting now to the, we've gotten past the introduction, and my first comment is the second point in the introduction is probably too broad, and it will be difficult for you to support that idea with specific details.
And that day, when I got back from the ceremony, I didn't stop thinking of what will I be and how I'll deal with the patients.
Now that idea there is, you need to go back to the first point in your speech. The graduation reminded you of the start of your career as a pharmacist, right? So if you want to directly connect back to that, when you get to that first key point in the body of the speech, you'll say, first of all, the graduation day reminded me of the start of my career as a pharmacist. And then you begin to elaborate on that idea. So there's not a good, clear connection between the first point of the body of the speech and the first point in your topic statement.
The other thing is that in the ceremony there was a slideshow showing me and my friends in a very beautiful pictures that reminded me of my great time with them.
You see, now this idea, so it sounded like you're now moving to your second key point, which is reminding you of memories, but you didn't really give any specific details to develop that first idea. So I think that's also going to cause you some trouble with this score. So you need more specific vocabulary, more specific examples to support the general ideas that you're using in this speech.
So because of the great memories I had, and because it was the real start of my career life, I consider my graduation day as the best event that happened to me.
Okay, so how would you score here? With this one, I don't think you're going to do that well, really, because even in the 3 range, if you look under the 3, you can click on the, usually Jacob will send you the link to click on the rubrics, but to score in the 3 under topic development, it says the development of your response is limited and that you need to more fully explain your ideas and use more specific details to support your generalizations. Sometimes the relationship between your ideas are not immediately clear. Now in the 2 range, I'm going to say your ideas are mostly limited. I'm going to put you in the 2 range here. Don't kill me. I'm just being honest here. I'm going to put you at about 2.83 out of 4. So in this case, I think you have some weaknesses in your topic development and maybe some weaknesses in your delivery. In topic development, I think you need more details. You need better vocabulary. You really need to get more specific. So maybe if you look at what you did in the beginning of the speech, you might say, my graduating, from pharmacy school was an important event for me because it reminded me of the start of my career as a pharmacist. That's one idea. Then give a good specific detail to support that. You might say, first of all, based on my graduating, it meant that I could now be a pharmacist, here in the United States. I could work at Walgreens, or I could go work at a hospital, as a pharmacist, something like that. Then say, second of all, the graduating from pharmacy school reminded me of a memory that I had with my friend Johnny, in my senior year of college or something. So you got to be more specific, not just memories plural, but one specific memory that you think is connected to this graduation event, and then spend some time giving an example or detail to help illustrate that idea. So you simply don't have the vocabulary or the examples to help support your generalization. So again, 2.83 out of 4. And so I think your biggest weakness here is your topic development. And within that, your biggest weakness, I think, is specific vocabulary. So my vocabulary section of my course obviously can be useful for you because it looks like you might not have enough vocabulary to really fully explain your ideas. Delivery, I think Jacob's right, your tone. To be honest with you, I mean, you talk like you're at a funeral. It sounds like you're very sad. You're speaking, my important event for me was when I graduated from pharmacy school. You're not really changing your tone at all. You're keeping a very even tone. So that hi there, the power ran out of my video, Eyas, so I had to start, I had to put a couple new batteries in my camera. Okay, so I finished listening to your first independent speaking task. I gave you 2.83 out of 4. That puts you at about 22 points out of 30. And the main thing is examples. You need to get more specific, I think, with the examples you're using. And that really is going to be very important for you in your TOEFL score. So you can also check out, I think it's my speaking lesson number 2. It'll give you some ideas on how to create a more sharply focused topic statement. Because the more focused you are with your topic statement in the beginning of your actual speaking task, I think the more it will force you to get to your details a lot faster. Okay, so we're okay there. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So the next one is object. If I go back to the question here, it says, upon your death, what valuable object or material possession would you consider giving to a friend or family member? Why would you want your friend or family member to inherit this object? Notice how it says a friend or a family member. It's wanting you to be specific, to not talk about giving it to several people, but one person in particular. All right, so let's hear what you have to say on this one. Here we go.
If I died, I would inherit my laptop to my relatives and friends, because for a long time they knew me as a person who loved technology and laptops and all this stuff. I think that my laptop also contains a very, very big collection of photos of me and my friends, my relatives. So I think if they inherited, it will remind them of me as a person who likes and loves technology, and it will also contain the very memorable times that we had together.
All right, let's listen to it one more time. Again, you're talking about giving it to many people, but I don't think that's what you really need to do in this particular question. Let's go back to what it says again. Let's take a look at the actual question. Let me look at it here quickly. Give me a minute. Yeah, so the question here is, upon your death, what valuable object or possession would you consider giving to a friend or a family member? You didn't do that. Yes, I'm telling you, you got to be really careful on making sure that you address the task. Remember that if you talk about a lot of people in particular, it's not going to be easy for you to develop why you want to give it to all of these different people. Now, if you say, well, I want to give it to my brother or my son or my daughter or my best friend, Frank or whatever, if you pick one person, then it becomes much, much better. Because then you can talk about why you want to give it to this specific person. What does this object represent? And why would you want to give it to this particular person? So I think with this task, you really haven't answered the question the way it needs to be answered. That's really your biggest issue with this one. Let's listen to it again.
If I died, I would inherit my laptop to my relatives.
See, this is where it's killing you. So you're using pretty good grammar, though. If I died, but you can't say I would inherit my laptop too. You have to say, I would want my relatives to inherit my laptop. That's the better way grammatically to explain that idea. Again, you would say, I would want my relatives to inherit my laptop. They inherit it from you. You don't inherit it to them. You give it to them, they inherit it from you. That's the better way to use that particular vocabulary word. But relatives, which relative in particular would you want to give the laptop to? That's the $64,000 question, and you didn't answer that. And that's why your score will not score above 3. You have not addressed the question in the way it needs to be addressed. That's the biggest issue with this particular speech. Let's keep going.
And friends, because for a long time they knew me as a person who loved technology and laptops and all this stuff.
Even using a word like stuff, do you mean other technological gadgets maybe? But the word stuff is a very weak word vocabulary-wise for the TOEFL. It doesn't demonstrate really that you can explain ideas in English. So also you're speaking very slowly. Again, your tone is very flat. You're not raising or varying your tone at all. And also when you're pausing, you should pause maybe after 4 to 5 stressed syllables, but you're pausing almost after every word. That's called pacing. So you do have, I think with this particular task, you're having some problems with your pacing, with your tone, and then with your topic development, you're not really addressing the task because you're mentioning relatives, but not mentioning anyone in particular. That causes problems with your score as well.
I think that my laptop also contains a very, very big collection of photos of me and my friends, my relatives. So I think if they inherited, it will remind them.
If you say, if they inherited my laptop and got access to all these pictures, it would remind them of, right? Don't forget you're talking hypothetically. If you died, you would, right? You're talking about a hypothetical situation that's not true, so you have to make sure your grammar is on par with that type of situation.
As a person who likes and loves technology, and it will also contain
it would remind them of a person who liked technology and who liked, again, use the past tense to talk about the hypothetical type situation.
Very memorable times that we had together.
Okay, so with this one, I'm going to score you a little bit lower than what you scored on the last one. I'm going to put you at 2.50 out of 4, about 19 points out of 30 on this one. You are having some problems, I think, with your tone again. I think Jacob told you that. You're having some problems also, I think, with your pacing. So I think in addition to focusing on my lessons on tone in the Speak Clearly part of my course, you can also focus on the lessons that talk about thought groups and blending. Now, with grammar and language use, you're having some problems talking about the hypothetical. If I died, I would. So pretty much the rest of the speech, you have to continue to use those past tense verbs and the hypothetical would to talk about this hypothetical situation, because thank goodness you're not dead now, right? So you're talking about a present impossible situation, something which is untrue or unreal in the present. So, in topic development, the biggest issue is you're not addressing the task the way it needs to be addressed. So these are some things that you want to try to solve and want to improve on if you want to score higher than what you're doing right now. Because, and don't underestimate, Eyas, is you can practice either listening to music. Listening to music is a great way to work on your tone and your phrasing. Watching TV a lot, especially movies, and where you get conversations, between different people, or among people, I should say. That's also going to be good for you. So, anyway, keep up the good work. I hope in the video I've kind of given you some more specific feedback to help you based on the problems that you're having. Now, remember, of course, I cannot offer this kind of feedback for the $35 a month that you're paying. I do have an additional service. It's $400, I think, and I will give you a lot more feedback on your TOEFL speaking practice test if you want it. All right, have a great day. Happy New Year. And thank you for becoming one of my students, and keep up the hard work. And you can be better. You can do better than what you're doing, all right? Bye-bye.